What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Mafex Marvel Avengers Infinity War Mark 50 Iron Man. This is number 178 in the Mafex collection, man. What is good with y'all, man? It's been a long time coming for this review. Long awaited figure for me personally. I've been really waiting for a strong Mark 50 Iron Man figure. I just wasn't, too impressed with any of the previous versions from Hasbro or, I will say the SHF version almost got me. I almost went in and got the SHF version. And right off the bat, I will say that the SHF version does have a slightly more accurate paint scheme, I feel, to the movie. The paint on him is a little bit darker for the red and gold. That being said, I still feel like the Mafex is the overall superior figure. And we are going to get into why in just a minute. But real quick, I just wanted to show you the packaging. We pretty much already saw this in the unboxing video. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check that out. But in that video, I went over the packaging. It was kind of dark. I kind of had to shoot it late in the day, so you might not have been able to see quite as many details on the packaging. So that's why I wanted to show him still inside at the beginning of this video with a little more light on it so you can see things more clearly. But yeah, this is the front. We've got the side here, pretty wide box, nice big size box, because as you can see on the back, he comes with quite a bit. I think I counted up about 26 accessories that he comes with in total, so very, very cool. And that's the look at the back of the box right there. All those action shots and his accessories, the other side, and at the bottom, legalese, barcode, all that stuff. You can see I got mine from okiniland.com. This is my second figure from them. And here's the top of the box, Avengers Infinity War. Not too much else, so let's go ahead and crack it open. See what we're working with, man. I am so freaking excited. The Mark 50 is one of my favorite suits in the MCU. I know a lot of people aren't crazy about the whole nanotech thing when it comes to, Tony and his suits in the MCU. They prefer the more bulky, really iron looking suits, But me personally, I don't mind it. I love the nanotech, and I love that it's reminiscent to the comics. This suit in particular, I feel kind of alludes or reminisces to the bleeding edge kind of look for Tony in the comics, and I've always loved that whole suit design. Ever since the first time I saw it in the comics, and kind of read the explanation of how Tony came about with that suit, I always loved that design. So to see, finally have it in the MCU and then finally have a very good looking figure for it, I am just, beyond excited to have that in the collection and finally take a look at it, see what he's capable of. So I'm just removing some plastic here out of him. All right. So let's see if I can get him standing up straight out the package. Let's see if he will stand. Can we get a good stance at our boy? See, we need to adjust these feet a little bit. All right, there we go. How about that? There he is, looking absolutely fantastic out of the packaging. All right, and so he comes again with a lot of accessories. So there's actually 2 trays worth of accessories. So we are going to obviously dive into all of that first, get those out of the way so we can focus on him. But real quick, just wanted to show you what he looks like. Get our first impressions. Man, the paint on him looks so freaking nice, man. It's so metallic and shiny. I love the red as well as the gold. I like the blue for the arc reactor, and I like that they had blue in these kind of like little arc reactor repulsor lights kind of like throughout his suit. I really love that. That's a feature that I really love about this particular design. Really awesome. I think maybe they could have gone just like a little bit more with the blue paint for like the arc reactors like towards the bottom and stuff, but actually I think overall it looks pretty good. I would say this is pretty accurate to how it looked in the movie, because especially like in the daytime you can't see these lights as much as you would in like a darker room, like when they look more lit up. So I think this is a pretty appropriate paint scheme for it, but I really like the blue for the arc reactor. I think that looks solid. The only thing I want to say as far as like the blue like kind of lacking, I would really say is like the eyes. I really kind of wish they made the eyes look a little more lit up. They kind of did the same thing with the Mark 45 figure. The eyes looked a little dead. I think they could have put some more blue like inside for the eyes to make him look lit up, because right now he looks, almost like powered down or kind of dead. So yeah, I think that would have been a nice touch, but that's just a suggestion. Other than that, I think he looks really, really good. Here's a side view of him real quick. And then we have our back view. Oh man, that paint is just amazing, man. Like, even you can see this is why I like, obviously the higher end figures, because the paint on the back, for me at least, matters, right? I don't like when they kind of like skimp out on the paint for the back, and they try to use the excuse like, oh, you're not going to be looking at the back of your figure. What if I am, man? Like, what if I have him posed up or displayed and I want him kind of like looking over his shoulder or something, you know what I mean? So I feel like the paint is always important, even for the back. So I really like that they decided to go all out and really, get the paint work for the back looking just as good as the front, as well as the sides. So yeah, there is Mr. Mark 50, man. He feels so good in hand. So I'm going to move him aside for just a quick sec. And let's get straight into accessories, because we have a lot to cover. All right. Excuse me. All right, here we go. So first up, we've got his Nano Blade. And this is a weapon that we see him use on the Mark 50 as well as the Mark 85. I really like this weapon. It's he used this a lot, or not a lot, but he used it on Titan towards the end when he was fighting Thanos in Infinity War. Really, really cool. I love the paint on it. I mean, look at that. Immaculate paint. The red and the silver looks really crisp and clean. I don't really see any bleeding, which is, very, very nice. And the kind of like neon blue color for the blade to make it look illuminated and, lit up. I mean, just awesome, man. That paintwork is absolutely immaculate. Absolutely love it. So we have the Nano Blade right there. Put that aside. Next up, we have his Qatar, I believe it's called. And I didn't really know that until, after watching the movie. I would have just called this a blade, but I guess it is a Qatar. It's a specific weapon called a Qatar. And this is the one, of course, that he tries to use to impale Thanos when he's, when he can tell he's clearly losing the fight to Thanos on Titan. And so this was kind of like his last ditch effort, and makes this quick Qatar. Kind of puts his hand behind his back, makes this, shoots it out, and tries to impale Thanos with it. But of course, Thanos grabs it and impales him instead, which shocked me, man. I remember seeing that for the first time in the movie theaters with my friends, and I was just like, no. Like, I really thought he was dead right there. Like, I thought like there was no coming back from that. And I was just like, oh man, I couldn't believe it, man. There was like a wave of panic that went over me after I saw that. But obviously he healed from it using those nanoparticles, which is really dope. Another dope feature of this suit. But yeah, there's the Qatar. It looks really good. The red. I think there's like even like subtle blue paint. Kind of, I don't know how well you can see that. Kind of outlining the red, the middle of the red part right there. There's like a little bit of blue paint in between the red and the gold that kind of outlines it. That looks really, really nice. And obviously you can see the fist in there inside, which is also painted very well. Look at that. They even got the detail of like the repulsor in there, like the silver paint. You can kind of see a little blue in there as well. Man, they just don't skip out on any details, man. That's why I love Mafex, man. I really, really do. So there is his Qatar. Next up, we have this kind of sword, I guess I'll call it, the Nano Sword. And I was kind of wondering when he used this in the movie. I remember when I saw reviews of this, I couldn't remember exactly like when he had used this particular weapon. So I went back and watched Infinity War, or like clips of it, and then I saw that he used this when he was fighting like Ebony Maw and Cole Obsidian. And as he's like flying, in that New York scene, when he's flying towards Ebony Maw and he's like almost like about to like crash into him, he activates this. Like, he makes this big old nano, not neon, nano sword come out, and he goes to like hit Ebony Maw with it, and then he gets hit by Cole Obsidian's, big old hammer chain thing. But yeah, this is a really, really cool weapon. Love the paintwork on this. Like the silver going through this part for like where his arm would attach to it. And then like obviously the blade, very nice silver paint outlined with the blue for the energy. and then the red on the side there. Very, very crisp and clean. Love that piece. Awesome. Next accessory we got as far as weapons go, I'll just show one, but he does come with two of these. He's got two nano cannons, which look really, really cool. He uses these in Infinity War as well as in game, and these were always like really cool weapons to me. In the movie, he has you can see energy kind of flowing in between this part right here. He uses this against Drax to kind of intimidate Drax when he's having that little face off with Star-Lord, and Star-Lord's threatening to shoot Peter in the face. So he's like, oh, you shoot my guy, I shoot your guy, let's go. Right? But really, really cool. Awesome paint work. Again, you can even see the subtle blues in there mixed in for the energy. The gold paint mixed with the red and the silver. Very, very nice. And even the inside right there of the cannon, very nicely painted, kind of like a light bluish gray color. And then the silver paint inside. These kind of look like crab claws. I've heard people call these little crab claw weapons, but very, very cool. I've always liked those. So you get two of those for each hand. All right. And that's pretty much it for the first tray as far as weapons go. Or actually, I take that back. He also does come with a little cannon, an arm cannon, for him to shoot a missile, which I think he uses also in that same scene with Star-Lord and stuff. He shoots a missile at him. So here's his little missile launcher for his fist. Very, very cool. Again, very well detailed. All the colors are there and present. You can see there's actually a little peg right here sticking out on the end, so you can plug it in to his arm for him to use that. So very cool. Nice translucent piece on the back here. So that looks pretty nice. So you have that. And that's pretty much it for the first tray as far as weapons. And then for the second tray, we are just packing with weapons, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. And that's one thing I want to say really quick is that, well, actually, no, I'll get to that later. I'll just keep showing you what he comes with as far as accessories go. But we have this little extension pack that he uses also on Titan, which is very cool. I like it a lot. Very well detailed. Kind of reminiscent of the lightning refocuser that he uses in in game, but not quite there yet. Not quite the same design, but I feel like this was kind of like a precursor to that thing. So I really like this. Very nice paint again, and then on the inside you can see there's little pegs for it to attach to his back. So that's very, very nicely done. So we have that piece there, and then we have let's see, kind of another nano cannon thing, but this one kind of has a different ending than the ones before. It's not open, and it's actually filled with things inside. Kind of I'm guessing repulsors would come out of here or something like that. So instead of grabbing or using that more electric looking energy, this is kind of has a room for repulsors and things like that. So that's really cool. Very similar design to the crab claw type of weapons, the little nano cannons. So very cool. He comes with only one of those. Actually, no, two. He comes with two. He's got two of those, and then he's got these slightly smaller ones that you can see his fist is inside of there, right there. It comes with the hand inside, and it looks like down here, I want to say this is either a missile launcher or a cannon. So a lot of the weapons are very similar. You can see as far as the overall shape and design of them, they're all very similar to those crab claw ones that I showed off in the beginning. So he's got another very similar weapon where he can his fist is up there and he can kind of aim it at you. So very cool. A lot of stuff that can come out of here. And yeah, it looks really good. Very clean and crisp paint again. Putting that down. And put some of these back because I'm going to run out of room if I leave all of these out. He's got the nano kind of mallets. These big old, flathead hammer things that he uses to, hit Thanos into that big old rock piece on Titan. And I love that scene. He's just going at it with Thanos. He's I'm done talking, and he just comes at him and hits him with these. These are very powerful mallet weapons that he makes. I really, really like the look of these. Love the I love the gradient of like the blue to the white, white to the blue, to make the energy look more vibrant and like it's, actually like lit up. Different like light sources. That looks really cool. Really like the paintwork can really make a difference, man, for a figure like this. So I really, really enjoy this. So he comes with two of those, of course. And let's see what else we got. We have, ooh, maybe one of my favorite pieces. I can get it out here. There we go. He has this, which I don't even know what you would call this, but I just call it like a launcher, basically, because this is that piece that you attach. You would actually detach the lower part of his legs and then attach this part to the bottom of him to have him look like he's blasting off, like when he's flying, when he's going towards the ship, Ebony Maw's ship, to get Peter and everything. He uses this, and this kind of like, this is like one of those things that was produced so fast, like the nanotech just like came out of his legs and turned into this, and then he just blasted off. And I remember seeing this in the trailer for the first time and being like so blown away. I was like, damn, that was cool. I remember so vividly watching that first the Infinity War trailer for the first time, the final one. I had just finished like a OChem test that day. I was in college, and I finished that OChem test, and that was the best chemistry test I had ever done as far as like my score and everything. I remember just praying that, because chemistry was not my strongest subject. I'll just let y'all know. But I remember just praying the night before that I would get like at least like a 70 on that OChem test, because the grades were like kind of tweaked in college. Like our professors, like a C was a D was like a C was like a B, and a B was like an A. So like that kind of thing. And so I was just praying that I got like a 70% on that OChem test. I ended up getting a 73, so I did even better than I had hoped for. So that was that was a blessing, man. So thank you, God, for that, helping me pass that test. But yeah, man. I was studying with my friend, and I remember us rushing to class the next day trying to get to that exam, and I felt pretty good about it. After it was done. I definitely knew I didn't get 100% on it, but I felt pretty good about it. And then I watched that trailer right afterwards at the library, and I was just, oh man, my mind was just blown away, especially when I saw this in the trailer. So very, very cool. Thank you, Mafex, for adding this piece in for us. Let's see. Next up, we got these really cool foot clamp things, and he uses these to like clamp down to the ground before he hits Thanos with the those mallet things that I just showed. So these are really, really cool, and they are articulated as well. So you can see there's like hinges, and each hinge is articulated. It's like a four prong hinge thing that can lift up and down and clamp him to the ground. So that is really, really cool. Keep him stable as he's using his weapons. Very, very nicely detailed and designed here. So we've got two of those, one for each leg or foot. And what else we got? A lot of weapons, man. I love it. I love it. So we've got this really big nano shield, and this thing is huge. A lot bigger than I was expecting it to be, but we've got this giant nano shield, which is really cool, very big, and it's meant to obviously shield his whole body. So I'm glad that they actually like made it nice and big, and can definitely like protect him, like the entire figure, if he holds this up. So that's really cool. He uses this against Thanos when Thanos uses the Power Stone against him on Titan. He blocks the blast with this. And yeah, very, very cool. Again, very nice paint. Again, I love the gradient of the blue and white right there. And then, of course, the red and the gold looks absolutely premium. Very, very dope. You can see right there, it's got a little hole for an attachment to his arm when he wants to use that. So very, very nice nano shield right there. That's nano shield 1. And then we also get nano shield 2, which is one of my favorite shields, because it's kind of like reminiscent to a Cap shield, but obviously like an Iron Man version, right? So a nice round, shield with a kind of like concave shape to it. Very, very cool. He uses this when he's battling Cole Obsidian in New York. So this is really, really cool. Very, very nicely detailed again. Some of that nice light blue and white kind of right here to make it look lit. And then you have the, the red and the silver. Very, very nicely done. Nice, solid plastic piece, but lightweight. Very, very cool. And let's see, last but not least, maybe one of the coolest things in this weapon set. We have 4 different, what do you call it, repulsor kind of, I forgot what they call these, the specific name, but these like repulsor energy cannons. Like these are the things that float behind him when he's in the Battle of New York, when he's facing Ebony Maw and Cole Obsidian, and he's got like 4 of these behind him, and then he kind of like focuses all the energy. Like these all have like their own separate like beams that like shoot and then focus into one giant beam that knocks Cole Obsidian, really far back. And Ebony Maw just kind of waves him out of the way with his telekinesis. But yeah, very, very cool. Very, very dope. Love the silver paint in there. Even all the details for like these little panels and things in here. Very, very nicely done. Nice dark red paint there. And some silver on the outside. And you can see, wow, this is really cool. I didn't notice this in the reviews that I've watched. But it's got like 2 little, almost like little, what do you call them, jets of like fire, like blue fire coming out in the back, so they can like propel themselves up, or like because I kind of thought they were just like floating in midair at first. I didn't really get how these work, but I guess they kind of fly. They have like their own little jets in the back, so that's really cool. Very nice detail there. So you got 2 of those that are like the same size, like these 2 nice big ones, right, like that. And then you have 2 slightly smaller ones, and I think the smaller ones kind of go in front or like in the middle of the 2 big ones. But yeah, you've got 2 slightly smaller versions as well, so you can have those displayed with Mr. Iron Man. So very, very cool, man. This thing comes with a buttload of weapons. And what I was gonna say earlier is that is another plus, I feel, over the SHF release, because I was going to get the SHF release. I remember seeing it at Frankenson's one day, and it looked so good, and I was so close to just grabbing it, but I decided not to, and to wait for the Mafex release. And I'm glad I did, because with the SHF version, you have to get, there's 2 different nano sets that they released after the main figure was released. And you basically have to buy like 2 different nano set packs in order to get like all of these weapons for him. Whereas with Mafex, obviously you buy one time and you get all the weapons. So I feel like that's a pretty big plus over the SHF. You get everything you need in one set. So that's why part of why I chose to go with the Mafex. And as far as scale goes, they're actually very similar in scale. I'll put the link. There was a certain review that I watched. I'll put the link in the description. But somebody did a comparison between, this one and the SHF. And they're actually really close in scale. Like as far as like height and build, they're actually like almost identical. But yeah, I think maybe Mafex also decided to do like a slightly different paint scheme, like a slightly lighter red and gold on this, as a way to like differentiate between the SHF, because like I said, they're almost like the same size and scale. So I think just to like kind of maybe have a little bit of differentiation between theirs and the SHF, they probably just changed up the paint just a little bit, just so people wouldn't get confused. Like say if they're trying to like buy it online or on the aftermarket. So that's just my thinking. I'm not sure if that's why they decided to paint it the way they did, but that's just my thoughts behind it. But yeah, man, so with all the accessories out of the way, let me actually go ahead and put some of these back, because I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. Let's see here. Let's see. Trying to see. Okay, yeah. One more thing actually before I get to him. I almost forgot. Almost. He does also. It's actually taped to the bottom, which is interesting. I thought it had its own separate tray, but it's actually just taped to the bottom of the second tray here. Get off some of this tape. Oh, there we go. There goes a piece. Make sure I don't lose that. Put that back. Alright, there we go. So he does, of course, like all Mafex figures, he does come with a Mafex stand. Actually, several stands, if I'm not mistaken. I'll move him aside for a second, just quick second again. he comes with the main Mafex stand, right? So you've got the base there. You've got, you know, your stand, your little clips to attach to the stand inside of this clear plastic packaging. You got an extra rod here to attach to one of these clamps. So that's cool. And then you have these, you got this, let me take the tape off of this. Let me actually cut it because it's quite a bit of tape here. Cut that, cut that. Thank you. All right. So you actually have a separate package, a little bit of tape still on there, but anyways, you've got a separate package that actually has 4 separate rods and 2 kind of like mini stands inside, like circle smaller stands inside of there. And these, I'm pretty sure, are used to display the those what do you call them? You know, energy cannon things that float behind him in you know, in the New York fight. These things right here. So I think you use those rods, I think, are going to plug in somewhere onto these. Oh, right there. You can see it right there. It's got a little hole right there in the back. So the rods are going to plug into there to hold these up, to have them look like they're, you know, floating behind him. Because, you know, they're obviously clear, translucent stands. So you can have these displayed behind him and look like he's using these. So that's really, really cool. So yeah, man, Mafex really, like, you know, thought of everything when it came to this release. They gave you all the weapons you could possibly want. The paintwork on each one is absolutely amazing. They definitely didn't skip out on any paint or anything like that. So yeah, man, it's just this set is just so dope. I'm gonna have so much fun posing this guy. I mean, there's like literally endless posing options that you can have with this guy, and that's what makes him so great. So yeah, I think the hardest part with this guy is honestly just having too many options and trying to keep up with all the pieces, if anything. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as his weapons go. Now let's get into his alternate hands. So let me put all these weapons back because I don't want to lose them or damage them during the review. Put that back in there. Put this over here. This will go back in there. Put the extension pack back. Where did it go? Where did it go? Was it right here? Maybe. Okay, and we'll put this there. And the guitar right back there. Okay, there you go. Nice and secure in there. Very good. Alright, cool. So now let's get into his alternate hands. Let's see here. I'm gonna bring this up. A lot of hands as well. So not only does he come with a lot of weapons, he comes with a lot of hands. So let me move these aside. So first pair of alternate hands, we have these, which are basically just fist hands. And they do come on like that nice Mafex little, you know, holder thing. That's like a little stand. This double-sided stand thing that you can plug these into. Very similar to like some of the Figma figures. So very nice paint and detail on these. The nice red and gold. And then a little bit of light blue in there for the repulsors. So very nice. So you've got these, or these are actually not quite fist hands. They're slightly open. Because I just looked at him. He has the fist hands on him straight out of the packaging. These are like slightly open hands. You can see there's some space right there on the side between his fingers. So you got that set of hands. You got these open palm hands right here, which come in another set. Again, very nice clean paintwork on those. So you got that. And then you have you've got these. These are fist hands, but they have pegs on the top of them so that you can attach, I guess, like different weapon parts. I'm pretty sure it's for like those, maybe like one of those like crab, not the crab claws, but like one of those arm cannon things or something like that. It's definitely for a weapon. So he's got pegs on the top of these fist hands that you can attach weapons to. He's got another set of hands, very open palm hands, like open finger hands, like he's using a repulsor blast. So then, you know, even the fingers are splayed out. So you can see that in there, looking very good, very clean, immaculate paintwork again. And for the last set of hands, we have pretty much the exact same type of hands, but with pegs on each repulsor, so that you can attach the blast effects, repulsor blast effects, to each end of these hands. So you got those. And speaking of blast effects, we have number one. First one right here, a nice long or medium length repulsor blast effect with a really nice gradient. I really like the paintwork, how it goes from like a light orange to a much darker orange, and then kind of like a white frosty tip for the connection point to the obviously to his hands. So that's really cool. You get two of those for each hand, and then you get the smaller ones that are meant for his feet, I believe. Yeah. You got these smaller ones, woo! Or it might be the other way around, but I'm pretty sure the bigger ones are for his hands. But either way, you've got these slightly smaller ones. All right, and these actually, let's see, yeah, these actually don't have like pegs on the end of them. They're like already like open ports so that you can port it in. So yeah, there you go. So you get two of those. And that is everything, I believe, as far as accessories. I think we've covered literally everything. So, like I said, man, it's a lot, but I love it. I love that this set is inclusive for everything that you could possibly want, everything that he used in the movie. Again, you only have to buy this once, and you get everything you need. So, again, I think Mafex is the way to go over SHF for this particular release. And let me put these back. And there you go, voila. All right, so now with everything out of the way, as far as his accessories and weapons go, let's get into Mr. Mark 50 Iron Man, one of my favorites. All right, so for play and display, starting with head articulation, we can look up. Ooh, popped off. Let me see, get that back on. I guess I pushed it a little too far there. Make sure I pop that back on. All right, there we go. Nice and easy popping back on there. All right, so looking up, see the head and the neck moving. You can look up about, let's see, about that far before it goes to pop off. And I didn't really notice how big the gap was between his neck and the torso here until like right now when I started articulating the head. So that's a little unsightly, I will admit that. I didn't realize you could see so much of the, the inner workings, like the ball peg in there. But I'm sure there might be like a little bit of ways to hide that. So we'll see as we go along. But yeah, as far as looking up, you can look up really, really good. Like, that'd be perfect for flying poses. And then of course back down. If you push the neck all the way in and move the head all the way down, you can definitely get him like tucking his chin in, and that looks really good from the front and the side. So that's pretty good. Just don't look, yeah, there is like kind of like a big gapping in there, so just try not to like look too much into like this area, or you will see a little bit of the internal workings of him. But it is what it is. And then you can lift back up, of course. Let's see, looking to the side, got some pretty good rotation there to one side. Let's check the other side. Get about that much to the other side as well. I think that's pretty good. I'm sure it can rotate 360, or at least I think it can. It might pop off though, just because of the way the inside is designed, like with the ball peg. So yeah, it might not rotate all the way around, and I don't want to force it, but he does have like a good range of movement to each side at least, so that's good. And then as far as tilting side to side, he gets pretty, ooh, let's see, it's not on. Guess it popped off again. Let me pop that back in. Okay, there we go. Head's a little bit tricky just because of the way they designed it, but you can easily pop his head back in, and it should be pretty sturdy if you have it in, all the way. But yeah, you can lean to one side, lean to the other side, and then obviously the neck moves as well, so that can definitely help him get more to each side if you want. So he's got some good range there. So there you go for the helmet, for the head sculpt. And then for the arms, Very similar to that Mark 45, so they can kind of like drop down the shoulders. And then his shoulder pads can lift up as well individually, like so. All right, so you can get those out of the way and then kind of shift his arm up or down like that. And then they move out to the side about that much, which is pretty nice, a nice 90-degree angle. Back down by his sides, and push the armor or the shoulder pad back into place. And as far as rotation, might have to adjust the shoulder pad armor. Arm popped out. Yeah, it's a little tricky just because of the shoulder pads. They kind of run into the sculpt of the chest, but you can pop that back in, no biggie. Let's see, get that. At least you get to see the inner workings of his joints, right? So you can just pop this shoulder joint back in there. See if it'll go. Get back in there, you. Okay, there you go. Now you hear a nice snap, nice click when it gets back into place there. But yeah, kind of rotate the arm. Now you can, let's see. I think this is what you have to do here. Let's see if it works. Okay. Yeah, he kind of has like a butterfly joint type of setup, very similar to the Mark 45. So as far as like getting his arm to rotate, you might have to like adjust his shoulder pad a little bit to get it to like spin around, because it does kind of get caught in here. So yeah, I'm not sure if it can do an actual full 360 without popping off, so I don't want to force it because it feels like it's gonna pop out again. But let's. Oh, okay. I guess oh yeah, it came out again. So yeah, maybe not a full, windmill 360 for the arms, but you can play around and probably fudge it if you want. But yeah, the shoulder pads is really what's making it a little difficult. So yeah, I snap that back into place. But that's fine. That's fine. I don't necessarily need like a full windmill as far as like, the arms go. Because I mean, how many times are you gonna like really try to make the arm get that much range, But anyways, you have a bicep swivel here as well. Bicep swivel cut up here, which looks pretty good. Nice rotation up there. And then you have double jointed elbows that allow you to get very nice bend. Very nice, better than 90-degree bend there. Very, very good. Comes back down there. All right. And then you've got, let's see, you got these kind of like arm guards or hand guards right here, but you can rotate the hands. Let's see. They are on kind of like a very like ball and hinge, similar to the SHF setup. So you can kind of rotate these. Let's see, all the way around pretty much. Yeah, they kind of swivel all the way around like even his armor on his arm. So you can get that, and then you can get some curling in, extending out a little bit until obviously the arm guard is going to restrict some of it going, outwards. But yeah, works very similar to like a SH Figure Arts wrist, so that's good. All right, for the torso setup, we have a diaphragm diaphragm joint that allows him to bend forward only about that much when you're only using that joint, moving backwards about that much. So not too, about what we would expect. And then you get a little bit of leaning to each side as well on that top ball peg joint, and a little bit of wiggle room as well. A little bit of wiggle around there. And then you got another joint down here by the waist. So the torso, so you can twist from there. He's got like a waist twist. You can twist at the lower torso there. All right. And then as far as leaning forward, I think you have another ball peg maybe down there. So let's see. He can lean forward about that far when you use both. I'm trying to keep his legs straight so you get an actual sense of how much he's bending. So not the greatest. Let's see about backwards. Also not the greatest, but I'll work with it. Not too bad. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think, yeah, so if I grab the legs, hold the legs together, and then push them all the way forward, like from the back, then you can, get about that much range as far as in bending forward. And then backwards, you can get about that much. So that's a lot better. That's a lot more than before. So that's nice. All right. And then you have a thigh swivel in here. All right. And the leg can kick up about that far. Let's see, basically a 90 degrees. Yeah, just about like a 90-degree angle if you really push. Going back, he gets about that much, which is, I think is pretty good. Yeah, around the same as like a Marvel Legends, maybe a little more. So that's nice. We said the thigh swivel, we've got double jointed knees that allow him to bend all the way to like almost his mid back. So that's really good. Very nicely done there. Back down. As far as the feet, we can hinge down about that far all the way to his tippy toes. Hinge up about that much. All right, before it runs into his leg, which isn't too bad. And then we have ankle swivel or rocker a little bit to each side. And we also have toe hinge. So you can see that. And the toes can hinge up that much and come back down flat again. So not too bad, you know. Oh, let's not forget out to the side. Almost forgot that. So out to the side, he can get, ooh, leg popped off. Went a little too far, so let's pop that back in. All right, there we go. Ooh, let's see. Is the leg on a drop down? Yeah, I think the legs are on slight drop downs as well. So legs can slightly drop down. You can see that. Kind of like the Mark 45, excuse me. You can kind of go up and a little bit down. Kind of pulls down a little bit. But yeah, out to the side, you can go about that far before it starts to resist. All right. So, you know, not quite a full splits or anything, but I think that's enough for Iron Man. You know, Iron Man is not super flexible or anything like that, so I think that's okay. So yeah, there you go, man. I think that's pretty much it as far as his articulation goes. Yeah, he can't really